Okay, so today's session is classroom management and practice. So this session is more like a sharing session because I believe most of you here already have experience teaching. Okay, maybe this is your first year over here, but you might have your experience in your previous place. Okay, so this is more like a sharing session. Okay, and maybe later on you can share your experience, or from here you can pick up something new for you to try out in this semester or in the future. Okay, so the objectives, okay, for this workshop, first is to identify what is effective teachers' characteristics, identify students' misbehavior and proper action, identify components in classroom management, apply the different classroom management style, and lastly, we look at the get me events of instruction. Okay, so the question over here is, what are the characteristics of an effective teacher? So I'm going to, if you have handphone, you can scan this one. In the meantime, I will paste the link in the message as well. Okay, so I've included the link there. Okay, you're able to go in. Yeah, so you can just type your response there. You can type more than one response for the question. Okay, sharing the results over here. So we have 3 responses. Okay, so can see over here from the responses, um, communication. Okay, a lot of you touch on communication, able to communicate, good communication skills. Then got creativity, patience, deliver lecture in terms of students' understanding and its context, responsive. Okay, I think I'll stop this one here. All right, I guess we all get the idea. I mean, you're all over there, you put in things like must be creative, must have communication skills. So communication skills, what form of communication skills? Maybe you have to be persuasive, okay, or firm, okay, and then deliver your contents in a way that students can understand, okay. Yeah, so basically it's very hard to pinpoint like what are the specific characteristic, okay? So, but what we can conclude is that in order to be a good teacher, okay, what we need to do is to make sure the students they achieve the learning outcome at the end of the semester. Okay, so that is the it's easier said than done. Okay, because during the journey to achieve the learning outcomes, that's where you have to apply a lot of activities, a lot of strategies. Okay, in short, okay, we can say a lecturer or a teacher need the wisdom of King Solomon and also the dedication of Florence Nightingale. Okay, so if you have that two characteristics, I believe the students will like you and they will follow through your sessions. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. Okay, so earlier on we have looked at the characteristic of an effective teacher. Um, the feedback that we saw earlier on, yeah, those are some of the characteristics that we need to have. Okay, the communication skills, okay, creative. Okay, so yeah, those are the things that we need. And effective teachers will lead to effective learning by the students. So over here, I have listed out some key factors that leads to effective learning. So one is lesson clarity. Okay, so it's a logical step-by-step, audible and distraction-free, okay, environment during the lesson. Okay, so that the students they can easily follow and hopefully they can remember, okay, until the assessment and also when they go out to work. Second is the instructional variety. So in class, we can't have only one-way communication anymore. Okay, so now we need two-way communications and also some other activities. Okay, not only you talk and then the students listen like in secondary schools. Okay, over here we have to use a variety of materials, different activities. Okay, so that there can be energetic all the time. Okay, doing activities, giving feedbacks. Okay? In other words, not bored in the class. Okay, this one here, task orientation. Okay, slide is related to the factors number 2. Okay, task orientation. So in a session, okay, you have to spell out the objectives. Why you have what is the LOs of this today's class? Okay, like what we have seen in the last class. Okay, when we do the planning, we plan the learning outcomes. So over here in the class, we inform the students today's class, what is the learning outcome? And then with that, when we run the activities, the students, they will appreciate the activities once they know what is the intention of those activities. Okay, students engagement, high interaction with students. So this is about the lesson itself. Okay, so instead of you talking for 1 hour, okay, do have some Q&A sessions, okay, or activities that involve the students, okay, they themselves coming out with the materials and things like that. Okay, and the last one here is the success rate. High success rates increases students' self-esteem and motivation to excel in the subject. Okay, so this one is related to the assessment, okay, or the activities in the class. Okay, so if they see that they can actually perform in the class, that will increase their motivation, okay, to continue to study, and at the end of the day, pass the subject or the course. All right, so now we have that several factors there. Now we see how can we achieve those factors there. Okay, so in the class, of course, we are looking at the class management. Okay, what is considered as effective class management, and why we have this class management. So the purpose. So first is to cultivate appropriate behavior. And then we use that time in the class to correct the inappropriate behavior, promote trust, friendship, and accountability, enable effective teaching and learning. So over here, we can see that it is very important, okay, in order to have a successful conduct of class. Okay? We have to make sure the students they pay full attention, they participate in all the activities, and they learn something. So before we can get to that part, we have to ensure that the students they already have the appropriate behavior. Okay? And also, if we need to correct them, we have to correct them early, okay, so that they won't disrupt the class in the future. Okay? And while doing those so-called behavioral corrections, we have to make sure we earn their trust, okay, so that they can open up to us, and it makes the two-way communications much easier. Okay, and at the end, it will contribute to the effective teaching and learning. To say that we have effective classroom management, these are the 6 criteria. One is establish positive relationship among students with the teacher. Okay, so we have to communicate in the way that it shows that we are supportive, and then we are giving them a safe environment, okay, during the class, so that they can open up in a class. For example, like answering your questions without scared to be judged or make fun of. Because most of the time, the students that prefer to keep quiet, especially the introverts and those who have low self-esteem, okay, they're scared that people laugh at them, so that they prefer to just stay quiet. Okay, but if we can show them they are free to give their opinions, and it's okay even though it is wrong. Okay, if we have that kind of trust, then yes, the class will be very organized and lively. Okay, prevents attention seeking and work avoidance behavior. Okay, so sometimes we do have this kind of students. Okay, most of the time we have like 1 or 2. So if these students Okay, we don't stop them at the very beginning. Then at the end of the day, most likely the whole class will become very chaotic. Okay, so this attention seeking normally either they are bored in the class or they want to be stand out in the class. So they will make a lot of small actions that if we don't curb at the very beginning or we don't give warning at the very beginning, it might infect the rest of the students. And it will be very, very destructive in the class. Okay, so that's why at the very beginning, later on, we'll look at that. Okay, we have to lay down some rules at the very beginning so that everyone agree to it. And then when we have misbehavior, this one later on we'll see we have either the small or the serious ones. Okay, so if it is not so serious, the minor misbehavior, then we should be able to quickly resolve it without causing more disruptions. And also, if we have those chronic misbehaviors, then we should have some strategies, okay, that is simple enough to be used and consistently being used to stop this kind of chronic misbehavior. And in the process, okay, of creating new behaviors in the students, okay, we have to teach self-control. The self-control here is self-controls to the students. So these students which have problems or misbehavior, okay, they should be given chance to correct themselves. Okay, so reward, warning is preferable rather than punishment. Okay, so we shouldn't use punishment because now we are looking at adults. Okay, so it should be in the way of more like advice. If there is punishment, then the punishment should be gradually being removed, okay, when the students shows improvement. And lastly, respect cultural differences. Okay, so in a class, we have people from different backgrounds. So when we are interacting with them, we have to be very careful of how we behave, verbal or non-verbal, okay, so that it won't cause any issues. Okay, so to achieve those criteria for effective classroom management, okay, so we look at several factors over here. So first is us, okay, the teacher. So in the classroom, we are the leader. Okay, we are the one that direct the class, okay, the direction they have to go. So if we can make the class very lively, very interactive, then the session will be very successful. Or no, if we bring our moods to the class, the students start to feel bored or things like that, then the class will be a failure. Okay, so how we drive the class, okay, is very important. So over here, let's look at leadership styles. So expert leadership. Okay, so teachers who shows enthusiasm and confidence in teaching. Students respect you for your knowledge and competency in your field. So yeah, this is normally we said those senior lecturers or the professors, okay, they are well known in their area, in their field. Okay, so when they are in the class, when they teach, they are very confident in the way they deliver. Okay, so students, they normally will respect this type of lecturers. Okay, second is reference leadership. Teachers who exhibit values such as caring, ethics, fairness, and trustworthiness. Teachers have strong rapport with students. So this is normally those so-called favorite teachers. Okay, sometimes you might come across students, they'll tell you, you know, last semester I have this teacher who and who, she is very caring, things like that. Or maybe during graduations, you have one or two students come up to you, say, Miss or Sir, do you still remember me? You know, last time I really enjoy your class, you know, the care you give to us or the way you guide us, we appreciate that. So that kind, that students, when they said that kind of things to you, those kind of appreciative gesture, okay, shows that you means a lot to them. Okay, you maybe you say like, I just conduct my class as usual, but actually maybe you have put in extra efforts there. Okay, maybe you try your very best to know them personally and then try to solve their problems, and then they appreciate that. Okay, so that is the second type. Third is legitimate leadership. Students show respect because you are a teacher. Okay, that normally happen for junior lecturer or those first time in this field. Okay, so you are not so experts in your field yet. You are not so confident in your class. At the same time, you still searching ways to bond with your student. Okay? But the students, they still show you respect, okay, because of your title. Maybe you are a lecturer or you are PL. Okay? So they show you the respect because of your title. Okay, but that's all. Okay, they won't open up to you. They won't share with you their issues. Okay, these are the students sometimes. You know, when we see the lecturers walk by, the students might say, good morning, sir, or good morning, miss. But after that, you ask, do you know who is this? Don't know. Or you do still remember what he or she taught you? Not sure. Okay? So if you get that kind of feedback, means, yeah, they respect you because you are one of their lecturers, but they don't really understand you, or they don't really remember what you taught them. And the last type here is reward leadership. Okay, so for this, students, they will like you, they'll enjoy your class when there's form of rewards given to them. Okay, maybe you say, oh, okay, well done. Then maybe you have some like token of appreciations. You give them special tasks, get special approval. So they respect you for that because they enjoy when they get that kind of rewards. Okay, so in these 4 leadership styles, okay, we should work from 4 to 3 to 1 and 2. Okay, so when we join the field, this lecturing, okay, most of the times we'll start off with 3 and 4. Okay, we earn the respect. Like first time when we walk into a classroom, they only see you for the first time. So first time, normally you can see your class very quiet. Okay, because they're still studying you. They have no idea who you are. Okay, so at that point, they respect you because you are their lecturer. Okay, but if this just continue like this, okay, you don't continue to show what you can do and effort to know them, then you can see their attitudes towards you will start to going downhill. Okay, they won't pay attention after maybe week 5 and onwards. They won't care about what instructions you give to them. Okay, so from number 3, you might want to get into their area, okay, by doing number 4. Okay, maybe in your class activities, if you start with like rewards kind of system, you might gain their attention. They will pay attention to your class. Okay, then slowly you work up to number 2. Okay, reference leadership. In class, before you start the class or during the 10 minutes break, okay, try to go down to their level, talk to them normal things. Like for example, let's say today you have a student suddenly come to class 20 minutes late. Okay, maybe during the 10 minutes break, you can just walk up to the students, just ask, hey, what's going on, know what happened, try to understand them. Okay. Or if you see there's a group of them during the break time, they are talking about football. You have no idea about football, doesn't matter. Just join in there. Okay, just go down to their level, try to build the rapport with them. Okay, so by doing this, they'll be very comfortable with you. Okay, so in the future, if they have any issues, then they will look for you for help. Okay, so it's easier also for us to do consultation when needed. Okay, when they start to open up to you because they trust you and they're comfortable with you. Okay, of course, the number one, the expert leadership, that would take time to develop. Okay, because once you went through several cycles in the classes, then you will get the idea how to pace yourself, and then that time you achieve the expert leadership. Okay, but before you reach there, make sure at least at the end of semester, hopefully you can reach the reference leadership. Okay, where the students and teachers can discuss things openly. But of course, you have to set some barriers when we say we open up. Okay, we don't want to know too much about their personal issues. Okay, we only focus on their academics. Okay, but if they share with us their personal issues, we can always direct them to the correct people. Okay, if you think, oh, they need counseling, we can arrange them to go to see counseling. Okay. All right, so yeah, back to this one. So leadership first is ourselves. Make sure when we are in the class, we have to project ourselves in the way that the students will respect us because of what we are teaching. Okay, we are very knowledgeable. We are confident with what we are teaching them. Okay, and then at the same time, we respect them as students. Okay, we show that we care about their performance in the class and things like that. Okay, don't just go in there, finish, walk out. Go in there, finish, walk out. At the end of the semester, you just inform in the board meeting the students are weak, and then then the PL or the ADH asks why they are weak. What have you done? Nothing. Okay, that's what we don't want to happen. Okay, so that's why it's very important for us to put in some care, okay, the pastoral care part to our students. Okay, so first is leadership, second is the classroom. So now you already know how to carry yourself. Next thing is the classroom. Okay, so as an effective lecturer, we should be able to control the classroom climates. Okay, what kind of environment we want to create during certain activities. Okay, so over here you can see we have competitive. Okay, competitive. The students will compete with each other. Okay, to get the right answer. Okay, the examples here it can be drill, practice. So during the competitive social climates, the students have no authority. Okay, all the instructions given by the lecturer. Okay, we give you the questions or give you the scenario. You have to fight among you all to get the correct answer. Okay, so that is the competitive climates. And then the second one is cooperative. This is where the students, they'll form groups and they have group discussion. Okay, so in these situations, the students, they are given authority to present their opinion, their idea freely and spontaneously. So during this situation, cooperative social climates, as a lecturers, we have to stand back and just to make sure it's not chaotic. Okay, we just there to stimulate the discussions and listens to what they have to say. Okay, and then at the end we summarize the students' contribution. Okay, so we give part of the teaching learning authorities to the students. And the last one is individualistic. Okay, students complete assignments on their own, monitored by the teacher. So this one, it can be exam, test, or doing the homework in the class itself. Okay, so they do it on their own. Okay, complete as with best possible answers. Okay, so they do it on their own, no discussions, nothing. Okay, so these are the three climax, okay, we can set, okay, during our lesson, depending on the activities we are doing. And we can apply this, okay, to different situation, okay, either to the full class, in groups, or individuals. Okay, so these are some of the examples of how we can perform this. So competitive full class, I believe we done this in class, okay, where we will ask them like questions. Okay, question one, who can give me the correct answer? And everyone, will raise their hands, and then we pick them up. We point to one, say, okay, what's your answer? They get it wrong, and then we choose another one. Okay, so in that situation, they will be competing with each other to see who get the correct answer. Okay, so that is full class, okay, for competitive. Full class for cooperative will be, you say, okay, student A, what is your answer? Cannot answer. And then we say, okay, students B, you might want to give hints, okay, or help out. Okay, cooperative. Okay. And the last one is individualistic. Okay, this is where the class recites the answer in unison. Okay, so like 1 + 1 = 2, then everyone said 2. Okay, so that is individualistic in full class. Then we have groups. Okay, we have group works. We can make them as competitive as well. Okay, we give out one like assignments, so everyone will come up with the best answer. Okay, but in group. Or if we put it as cooperative group, okay, this one here we can it can be something like, for example, let's say the assignments for that day is about coming out with ideas to let's say you want them to talk about pollutions, for example. Okay, pollutions. So one team can talk about the cause of the pollutions, another team can come up with the ideas to prevent the pollutions and things like that. Okay, so after that, we combine all of their works together and it becomes one complete assignment. And lastly, for individualistic but groups, over here, each subgroup completes its own assigned topics, which is different from each other. Okay, so let's say you have 5 topics, so each group do one topic. Okay, but they're all not related. And the last one for individuals. Okay, for individuals. Okay, for competitive. So this one can make it as all competes to answer the same questions. The students with the fastest and most accurate response wins. It'll be something like Kahoots quiz, okay, like the Kahoots, okay, where they all answer on their own. The individual for cooperative, this one we make them to complete their work and then they share, they exchange their answers and then they mark, okay, peer review. So that's cooperative, individual. And lastly, individualistic individual. So this one is each students complete the work on their own without direct interference from the teacher. Okay, it will be like tutorial time where you give them chance to just solve the questions on their own. Okay, that will be the last one. So in a session, 1 hour session, okay, all these things can happen one after another, depends on the activities you conduct in the class. Okay, so we have to try and error, okay, to see what kind of combination fits for that particular activity. So when we can have this different climates changing effectively, then we can maximize the students' engagement. They don't feel bored, and also we will minimize the disruptions as well. Okay, so that's a social climate. Another one is physical climate. Physical climates here refer to the arrangement in the rooms. Okay, so how that will help in the social climate. Okay, so we have the traditionals, one-to-one, like the separate tables like this, or we have the group, we have the horseshoes. These are just three examples. Okay, we can always customize, okay, the room to meet the requirements for the activities we want to do. Okay, so which suitable is the which style is suitable, that depends on the activity. Okay, so you already have the climax. Next is classroom rules. Okay, if you remember earlier on, one of the reason we have classroom management is we want to um, to correct misbehavior, and we want certain behavior in the class. Okay, so in order for that to happen, we have to spell out the classroom rules clearly. Okay. So the classroom rules, okay, is to maximize work engagement and minimize disruption, to promote safety and security, and to avoid inconvenience to other users. Okay, and lastly, to encourage appropriate social interactions. Okay, so those are the reasons why we have the rules. Okay, so when we lay down the rules, okay, make sure they're consistent with the classroom climate. Okay, for example, like if you ask them to do group discussion, okay, you can't say you do discussions quietly. Okay, impossible. During discussion, there will be sounds here and there. Okay, so make sure your rules consistent with the activity you are doing. Okay, so if you are asking them to, like for example, exam, it's open book exam, then you have to allow them to have the materials there. Okay, so make sure the rules are consistent with the activities you are doing. And then the rules are enforceable, okay? General but understandable. Okay, so to know whether those rules are the good rules or not, then this is where we have to see whether your rules fulfill the next criteria or not. Okay, so sometimes the rules fail. Okay. For example, the rules is not practical. Okay, so for example, let's say you want them to answer the MCQ. You say, okay, tomorrow bring 2B pencil. Straightforward, right? 2B pencil. Any brands will do as long as 2B. Then you get the result. But if you start to say, no, you must use certain brand, that's where the rules will fail. Okay, too not practical. Next is teachers fail to monitor closely, such as only reprimands some violators. Okay, so this one is you are not enforcing, okay, the rules that you just lay down. Okay, you just pick and choose who you want to punish. Okay, so if students that see that you practice favorism, then you become very chaotic in long run. And the last one, fails to enforce it firmly, okay, and too many exceptionals. Okay, so this one is also will cause the rules become invalid in long run. Okay, for example, let's say you state clearly, okay, for my lab, a science lab, you have to wear shoes. Okay, so that's the rules you lay down, must wear shoes. Proper shoes with closed front and back, everything you already mentioned. Then after that, one first day you have students come in, say, sir, I have injury in my foot. Okay, so that's very obvious, injury in the foot, very obvious. So you say, okay, fine. It's that one you cannot avoid. But then they start to come in to give you other examples like, oh, I forgot. You say, never mind, next time. So that one, that you already shows you are giving exceptional. You are not following your rules firmly. Okay, so if like say, oh, medical purposes, fine, we cannot avoid, but they start to give you excuses like, oh, my shoes still wet, or I forgot, or my shoe on. No, they'll come up with all the ideas. Okay, that's where the rules will fail. Okay, if you don't keep to your words firmly. Okay. So these are some of the guidelines on when you want to laid out the rules. Okay, make sure they are workable, okay, easy to enforce. And most importantly is you don't practice favorism. Okay, this one can do, but that person cannot do. Okay, then it will cause conflict in the class. Okay, some of the areas we have to take notes, okay, where problems might occur. Okay, 4 areas. First is monitoring students. So earlier on, we have mentioned about the rules, regulations, and then the climates we are promoting in the class. Okay, if the students, okay, if we don't monitor them closely, then it might fail. Okay, so what happened here in monitoring students? Okay, so we have to take notes on the students' movement, their behavior. In other words, we have to be alert. Okay, we can't be just teaching, like doing our own thing. We call short sendiri. Okay, without looking at the body language of the students. Okay, if the classroom is a small classroom, like classroom of 40, where we able to make eye contact with students, we should do that, okay, to all the students, not only focus on one. Okay, we have to look at left, right, up, down, everywhere. Okay, so that they're aware we are looking at them. Okay, and then during the lesson, if we start to see that some students that might show uh, the, the expression like blur or tired, that's where we can stop and change the pace or activity. Okay, maybe stop for a while and then go for Q&A so that they get alert again. Okay, or if after 1 hour, then we give them a break. Okay, so that's where the monitoring is very important. And this part here, okay, this is what I learned when during my first time of teaching. Okay, my trainer that time told us this. Okay, so sometimes when we watch those movies or dramas, okay, we saw how they portray a teacher where they just talk to the board. They wrote on the board and at the same time they talk. Okay, so that is very bad. Okay, so when we talk, we must face the students so that they can hear our voice properly. Okay, we shouldn't like write and talk at the same time. Okay, so we shouldn't talk with our back facing the students. Okay, do not talk only looking at one student. Okay, as I mentioned earlier on, the eye contact should be to the students in the room. Okay, not just one particular student. Okay, because that first will make that particular students uncomfortable. Second, the rest, they'll start to lose their attention. Okay, and lastly, of course, when you talk to the students, not somewhere else. Okay, looking at the windows, looking at the ceiling, and things like that. Okay, so this is the first thing. Okay, we have to pay attention to our students. Second is making transition. Okay, so the transitions here will be something like, no, you after your first activity, you go to the second activity, or you give them break, and then after the break. Okay, so this considered as transitions. Okay, changing of rhythms, changing of activities. Okay, so during these transitions, okay, we might see students, they'll start to talk to each other. okay, or they start to look at their handphones and things like that. So that will be the main dis disruptions. Okay, so we have to take notes of all these things, okay, before we start the next activity. So the main reasons why we might see some interruptions during transitions is because the students, they are not ready for the next activity, okay? Or they do not know about what is going on next, okay? Or they don't know what to do. Okay? And the last reason here, okay, teachers delay the start of a new activity. Okay, for example, you say, okay, class, let's watch this video. Okay, then something happened, okay, connection issue, the video buffering, no sound. Okay, so all these kind of things are the disruptions. Sometimes it is unavoidable, okay, but we must aware about the issues, okay, the disruptions, okay, caused by the transitions. Okay, so yeah, we have to aware about this and make sure we plan our activities, and try and error, okay, will make it perfect one day. Okay, so third area where we might have issue is assignments. So in class, we have different types of students. Some they're okay, some they might grumbling, okay, when they see, oh, no work coming in. Okay. So how to reduce this? Okay, these are just some ideas. Okay, so we can include the homework, okay, at the end of the in-class activity. Okay, so it's like maybe in your slides, you already have those questions built in there, or in your open learning, when they scroll through, they already see, oh, there are works that I have to do. Okay, so they're already ready. Okay, they're aware about this homework. And of course, if we tell them in advance, like say, okay, make sure you attend this work because you know how they are related to the lesson, okay, or how they will help in the next lesson. So this might give them encouragement, okay, to attend those homeworks. Okay, so use motivating comments in the feedback of previous homework. Okay, of course, when they submit, we give them feedback. If good, we have to mention, okay, well done, good job, okay, keep up the good work, that kind of motivating comments. And lastly, do not use these terms like complete them on time, finish them all, make sure all correct, okay? Because this will give them pressure, okay? So sometimes they don't like us to instruct them. Okay? You say complete on time or make sure all correct. Okay? So high chance they won't attempt. Okay, so most of the time what we do is we just mention, okay, so due date is by this time, okay, rather than say, no, complete them on time. Then the last part is bringing closure. Okay, this is ending the class. Okay, so ending the class parts. Okay, okay. Make sure we conclude, okay, the lesson. Okay, so something like, no, today we have talked about investment, financial financing, or something like that. So we try to give them a summary, okay, or the key points, okay, to summarize or recap, okay, what we have covered. So this will keep their attention to you until the end. Okay, we're summarizing, or we provide a structure for them. Okay, after all we have shown or all the activities they have done, then we try to ask them to remember, okay, we have done this, is what we start, da 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 da. Okay, so they will pay attention until the end of the class. Okay, so up until here, anything you like to share or any questions? Okay,
no question, Philip. Nothing. I think many of us here are very have thought for quite some time. So sort of know, sort of know, yes. but good to have a refresher.
Yes, yes. Okay, so if no questions, let's take a 10 minutes break. Okay, after that, we'll continue again. All right, so see you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you all are back and ready for the second part.
Yes, we are.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so earlier on, before the break, so we look at the importance of the classroom management. Okay, so it's like we need environments, how we should portray ourselves. And next, okay, now we look at classroom management styles. Okay, so this is basically how we approach the class. So over here, I'll show three styles. Okay, we start off with the humanist tradition. Okay, so this one here basically is more like very mature communication with the students. Okay, so the talk to the students, can we communicate with them about their behavior? If let's say they are not behaving how we expected, so yeah, we have to talk to them, okay, properly, okay, not threatening, not humiliating them in front of others. Then when they convey their issues to you, okay, so we have to accept what issues they have, okay, and we listen, okay, we listen to their issues rather than we try to argue back, okay, but why not like this, but why not like that, okay, that will cause more conflict. Okay, so under humanist tradition, the method over here is the encourage communication. Okay, and then when we are talking to the class, okay, try to avoid the negative terms like, no, your work is sloppy, you are lazy, okay, no, this students A is intelligence, okay, this kind of labels, okay. So yeah, we try to avoid all these labels because they can be very discouraging. Okay. And when we praise, okay, we have to make sure we use them appropriately. Okay, for example, like the examples here. Okay, so if we say, you see, this student's B completing his work on time, what a good student he is. Okay, so yeah, that one will give a wrong impression. Like completing homework not necessarily means that person is good. Okay, you can say he's punctual, the work is tidy. That one is okay. But if you start to say no, or you are a poor student because you never complete your work, it doesn't feels right over there. So under this humanist tradition, okay, so when we discuss with students, okay, we discuss in the two-ways communication. Okay, so if the students tell you a problems, instead of condemning the students, okay, we should suggest alternatives, okay, for them to solve the issues. Okay. And the last part here is when we look at the previous points, okay, it sounds like we have to be like a saint, okay, not to get angry and just take their feedbacks and things like that. Okay, that's not how this one work. Okay, so in this method here, we are basically treating each other like human. So when the teacher wants to express the frustration or dissatisfaction due to certain behavior, okay, so we have to be firm and we have to use the word I. Okay, like no, instead of saying your presentation is sloppy, okay, we can say I feel disappointed with your presentation. Okay, can you see the difference there? So if I say, well, after the presentation, okay, I say your work is sloppy. So it's like a direct confrontation with the students. They might feel angrier, okay, or if let's say they actually put in efforts there, then with that kind of direct, say your presentation is sloppy, they will feel embarrassed, they'll feel angry, okay. But if you say I feel disappointed, so somehow the perspective change, okay. You are using your emotion. You show that no, I feel disappointed, okay, because you are not putting the effort, okay. So it affected me. Okay, so by using this kind of like, you mentioned that, how I feel about your work. Okay, so it shows the perception is the students will say that, okay, so he or she actually care about what I do, what I present. So maybe next time I will try my best not to disappoint. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so make sure know when you want to phrase your words, okay, phrase it properly so that it won't hurt other party, but at the same time it deliver the message. Okay, so in humanist tradition, over here, we encourage cooperative learning, okay, where we try to limit competitive environment, okay, because in competition, normally we look at rewards, okay. So if there's no rewards, then that's where they start to feel frustrated or become bored. Okay, so the environment should be cooperative learning. Okay, and then when we set a certain rules, okay, it has to be mutually agreed by the students. Okay, the simplest example will be when we are deciding on, for example, the appropriate time for maybe replacement class or additional class. Okay, so everyone should agree with that particular time and dates. Then when their students later on complain, say, no, I cannot make it, then they cannot blame on you already, okay, because the rest of the students, they already agreed on certain things. Okay, so and when things happen, at least the rest, they're aware and they will back up, say, okay, we actually already discussed this, so when you cannot make it, it's your problems, okay, things like that. Okay, so any like rules, okay, or suggestions, okay, should be done mutually. Okay, talk to the students, get their consents and things like that. Okay, and if issues happens, we have disruptive students. Okay, after a class, okay, we talk to them privately. Okay, don't point to them on the spot in the class, embarrass them. Okay, that's what we shouldn't do. Okay, we should maybe at that time we can calm them down, but after that we can continue with what we are doing. Okay, because in classroom management, the important thing is we have to make sure the majority of the students, they learn something. Okay, so if we have disruptions, we should stop it immediately and then find a way to find out the cause outside of the classroom time. Okay, so in terms of the students with misbehavior, okay, normally we'll give them warning and things like that. Okay, so when you already give them the so-called warning or punishment, okay, so we have to make sure we see it through, okay, to see whether there's a progress or not. Then if there's a good progress, then we should take out the punishment. Okay, or if it becomes worse, then we have to go to the next action. Okay, so that is the first style. Okay, it's a lot of communication. Okay, talk the way out of the problems. The second style here is applied behavior analysis tradition. Okay, so over here we are looking at how to reinforce certain behavior into the students. So over here, the methods is using positive reinforcement, okay, praises, okay, small tokens, okay, when certain behavior is exhibited by the students, okay, we show that we appreciate, okay, they are doing what we expect them to do, okay? And then when they are okay, so another one is negative reinforcement. Okay, this is action to end or remove unpleasant conditions when students pursue certain behavior. Okay, so pause the lesson when students starts not paying attention. Okay, so yeah, we stop something. Okay, so once they're aware that okay, when they do something incorrectly, then they will receive certain action. Okay, so they will try not to behave in a certain way. Intermittent reinforcements. So this is to maintain their appropriate behavior that we expect. Okay, so like once all of them already in certain behavior, then once in a while we have to maintain that. Okay, so we still have to praise them in their feedbacks, okay, so that they will continue, okay, the good behavior. So since this is talking about behavior, okay, so it is very important for us to alert about the stimuli in the room, okay, that can trigger certain unwanted behavior. Okay, for example, like the students are noisy. Okay, so when they're noisy, we have to look around, like what caused that to happen. So, for example, if the room is noisy, okay, so the students, they will become even more noisy. Okay, because they will talk louder. Okay, so that they can hear each other. So if we can make the room quiet, then yeah, the students will be more calm. Okay. So what they see, like the behavior, for example, let's say your style. Okay, every time when you start a certain your lecture, you will off the light. Okay, so one time you do that, they're aware. Then when it becomes like a practice, you on the lights, you do discussion, you off the lights, you do your presentation. So when they see the light on and off, they will go into a certain mood or certain mode, okay, to be prepared for the activity. Okay, so this is how the behavior can be adjusted, okay, by controlling the stimulus. Okay, or sometimes it can be a stranger, okay, walking into the room. Okay, when you have an observer inside there, they'll behave better. Okay, so we have to be aware of the room environments. Okay, so if we see some unwanted behavior, okay, so if we can identify the stimulus, we remove it, then yeah, that will prevent unwanted behavior or misbehavior from the students. Okay, so in order to implement using this style, okay, behaviorist tradition, so we have to identify what kind of appropriate behavior we want to see in them and what we want to remove from them. Okay, for example, we say like, okay, so we want the students to have the habit of reading one article, okay, about environments before class. Okay, so we have to identify, okay, so that's what I want them to do. So how to make sure they do that every time? Okay, so try out first time, fail, then change your strategy, apply again and see will they do that. Okay, so we have to identify first what we want them to do. Okay, then only we impose. Then again, as I mentioned earlier, so the stimuli in the room. Okay, so identify also what will make them want, okay, to do certain behavior. Okay. And if we have inappropriate behavior, so we have to identify what's the reason. Okay, it can be maybe their problems or the environment problems. Okay, so if we can identify the problems, then we should be able to improve, okay, the behavior. Create procedures to reinforce appropriate behavior when you want to replace the inappropriate behavior. Okay. Yeah, so these are something that we have to do extra things. Okay, you want them to replace inappropriate behavior. So we want them to, let's say, read in advance. Okay, so how to make sure they read. Okay, so normally they come in unprepared. So we have to find out how to make them prepare for the next class. Okay, so the first two, okay, so one is about communication. Okay. Second is looking at how to change the behavior, okay, by using certain stimuli. So the third one here is classroom management tradition. So for classroom management tradition, this is all about planning in advance to prevent classroom misbehavior. Okay, so for this one here, okay, in order to be effective classroom manager, we have to spend off time, okay, before and during, okay, the few weeks to plan how to organize the classroom activities. Okay, look through all the possible area where the students might misbehave, how to overcome them when things happen. Okay, so that is the gist of classroom management tradition. Okay, plan ahead, okay, to make sure problems won't occur during the classroom activity. Okay, so in order for that not to happen, so this is where we have to plan on the rules, the routine, how to start, how to end, okay, and very clear instructions on what they need to do. Then we also have to inform them in advance. Okay, if they don't follow the rules, then what kind of consequences they will face. Okay, so basically that is classroom management. Okay, to plan the activities, look in advance of possible problems, and what's to inform them in advance so that problems won't occur. So in the sharing here, okay, we have these three styles. Okay, there's no one style which is the best style. Most of the time, we mix and match, okay, to see which one fit our personality and which one fits the classroom at that time. Okay, so we can always pick and choose the best idea or the best practice we can get from these three styles and then implement them. Okay, after that, there's no like one size fit all. Okay, we try on the first class, maybe it work, then the next class it might not that efficient, then we have to tweak for the next class. Okay, over time, maybe after 5 years or 10 years, then you should have enough experience to know which is the how average students behave and therefore what is the best methods to tackle. Okay, so all these things needs time to explore. Okay, students' misbehavior. Okay, so before we continue over here, I would like to hear from you. What are the most common students' misbehavior you have encountered so far, okay, in your history? So you can scan the QR code, or if you haven't closed your previous Mentimeter, you can continue from there. You can use back the same link I posted at the chat box there to do this exercise, this survey. Okay, what are the most common students' misbehavior?
Dr. Tang, you know how bad it is down here. Cannot get reception. Difficult. Yeah, I remember you used to work here, so yeah, very difficult.
You use the link in the chat box.
QR code. Use the QR code.
Yeah. If handphone is difficult, you might want to click the link using your laptop. The link will.
Oh yeah, okay. I try the link.
Yeah, you use the link better.
Link is in the chat.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me try. All right. Also a bit slow, but coming on.
Okay. Okay, over here we have 3 responses. Oh, 6 now. Arguing with lecturer, playing gadgets, chit-chat in class, talking in class, the same thing. Okay, using handphone. Okay, handphone problems. I face it a lot also. Sleeping, exiting a presentation, inappropriate language. Okay, let's wait for 1 more minute. See any more response coming in. Final exam writing is poor. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, okay, more coming in. Yeah, the sleeping is bigger, so means, yeah, sleeping is one of the issue. Okay. All right, talking in class. Talking in class. Maybe someone can share your idea, okay, for those students, okay, for the lecturers who face problems where students talk in class. So how to discourage them from doing so? Anyone?
Yeah. I'll just ask them what's the interesting story that they're discussing. They like to share it with me in the class.
So when you ask them to share, will they actually share with you, or they just like
everybody start laughing? No silence. Then they'll start laughing. Yeah, you know, and then the other friend will say he's talking about his girlfriend lah, and then and then you'll be like, okay, go for a break, you know, and the class is disrupted.
So is that like all the time during the class, or?
Because they sit together, so they always like, you know, when they get a chance, they will just like, you know, at the back, and then they'll just like talk.
So if that's the case, means when you ask them to share, they are willing to share, so that actually will distract the class, right? Will disrupt the class.
You have to, because it was getting out of hand, and then, you know, the rest are feeling like uncomfortable, you know, these two fellows talking. So after that, when they came back, so I told, then I said, you know, you're actually disrupting the class. The rest are feeling uncomfortable. They want to hear the lecture, you know. And so then these two fellows apologized. I have not found it in this school. Although I'm new here and it's been like a few weeks, I just started teaching. So not here whilst I was in UCSI.
I see. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, the approach, if let's say you ask them to share, they actually make it even louder. That means the methods fail. Yeah, because when the intervention actually supposed to stop them from continuing doing that. So like in your case, if you say two of you, maybe you want to share with the class, what are you talking about? Then without any fear, they straight away come out and they just make the class laugh and things like that. So means your instruction actually, what do you call that? You encouraging them you encouraging the bad behavior. Yeah. So like after that, you mentioned that you talk to them, and then
I told them,
if after you talk to them in private and the following day they stop that to get all together, that means that is a correct approach. Yeah, because whatever things we do to stop certain behavior, it should show the positive result.
Yeah, because I thought, because I thought if I told them in class then not to talk, I think that's a bit, they will do some more, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but in private, so then, you know, then they apologize, and then after that, you know, they set apart.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you for the sharing. All right. So the next one over here, let's see. Yes. Toilet break, then MIA, sleeping, playing gadgets. Yeah, playing gadgets. So anyone would like to share the experience of the disruptions due to the students playing handphones and how you deal with these students? Anyone? Miss Sharina, anything you'd like to share about students using handphone during the class?
Well, usually I would tell them in advance on the first day that they cannot use their handphones But of course, if we had some interactive, like for instance, this kind of activities, of course we allow them to take out their handphones lah, But what I do usually is to tell them in advance when we go through the lesson plan and all that during the introductory day, right? The first day. That's when we tell them, okay, guys, this is when we tell them the rules of the class, to ensure that they do not practice playing the gadgets unless if it was an activity lah. Yeah.
So let's
That's
say
what I
they
do.
still continue to do. Let's say
If they
after you
still
give,
continue to
yeah.
do, I would nicely tell them, in a way, okay, I see that you are on your handphones, remember what I say on the first day?
So normally
Something
will
like that.
they oblige?
Yeah,
Normally will they?
usually yes. Usually yes, because most of the time we'll be doing some activity. I mean, in my class, like for instance, event classes, right? So mostly are practical activities and all that. So yeah, they do use their handphones to probably do some research, Google, using Google and all that. But that's about it. If there was any communications or if they're doing it, any WhatsApp, whatever it is, that's when I tell them, look, we're in a class, let's focus. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for sharing.
Sure, no worries.
Can
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
add to that?
Yeah, I just
Um,
want to ask you, Dr. Sotes, because I believe nowadays handphone is either handphone or iPad. They will always give you the excuse, oh, I'm actually reading your notes, but actually they are either texting or they are playing games. I think Dr. Sotes, you have come into this a lot. So normally, what kind of strategy you use?
Okay, so I think one of the things that I would tell them, but I would only tell them up to a maximum of 3 times, right? And for me is as long as that behavior is not disrupting the rest of the class, because sometimes when you sort of it's actually the same students who will actually behave in that particular way. And so sometimes when they're doing something and again you're correcting them, you will actually end up appearing as if you're picking on them, right? So normally, as a rule of thumb, I will only just say it for about 3 times, and then after that, so normally after, just to tell them that, I have sort of like reached a point there, okay, I'm just not going to pay attention to you anymore. I'll just say, okay, you're adults, you know what's right. So just leave it with you to do the right thing, right? And then, and I'm just going to concentrate on the others, because I feel like there are other students who are paying attention, and by paying more attention to these students who are disrupting, especially if they are not, of course, if it's a disruptive behavior, it's disrupting the entire class, then it's a different thing, right? So I've had cases where there were disruptive behaviors where then I would say, okay, let's take a 10 minutes, right? I'll actually take the student out of the class, have a conversation, and say, okay, if you need some time to sort things out, maybe, you're not in a good place today, your excuse, go, sort out whatever you need to do and come back fresh tomorrow, right? So things like that. But I feel like, especially if like these are, and some students just to annoy you, they would want to do, they just want to get a reaction from you, they would do. So the best way to treat them is just to ignore them. I mean, but this is my personal experience, actually. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sotes. Yeah. I agree to certain extent because especially when we said disruptive behavior or the misbehavior, if the misbehavior like sleeping in a class or using gadgets in a class, we know it is a problem. So normally we talk to them after the class, okay? Because the main intention in the class is to do the activities you already planned with the whole class. So as long as their behavior is not disrupting at that point, we can just leave them alone, talk to them outside. Yeah. But if it's destructive, then we have to take intervention on the spots. Then normally is to bring them out, okay, so that we don't embarrass them in front of others. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much of the sharing. So let's continue. So basically, in terms of behavior and actions, see. Over here, I've listed out some of the common behavior. So the reasons of the misbehavior. So we have like attention seeking. Okay, so this one can comes in a lot of forms, like they start to talk loudly, or they just make some movement, very big movements, okay, to distract people. Okay, or group influence. The group influence will come into picture when you have one person that's seeking attention and you don't address that promptly, then it will influence the group, and then it will go uncontrollable. Okay, or because of boredom. Okay, to show power. Some they like to show they are superior, they are more intelligent. That's where they start to make a lot of comments for every sentence that you present. Okay, you never lay out any rules. Okay, so they don't know is inappropriate. Okay, so if you warn them, then maybe they would change. Okay, external problems. So this is where we only will find out if we actually talk to them. Okay, so for the external problems, most of the time, like a lot of time, what I faced was the students, they sleep in a class. So when you actually talk to them, you notice, oh no, they cannot sleep due to certain valid reasons. Yeah, then we try to solve that together. Okay, avoidance of work. Okay, and also disabilities. So again, disabilities, this will know after we talk to them. Okay, disabilities here we're talking about those like ADHD or dyslexic. So if we are not paying attention, they will appear as destructive, annoying, or lazy. Okay, so this is where the rapport is very important to know the students in your class, especially those we perceive as problem makers. Okay, those so-called typical students, no issue students, normally we still pay attention, but we pay less attention. We focus more on those trying to seek attention. Okay, if we can know the reasons they do those things, and then hopefully with certain adjustment, we can change their attitudes in the class. Okay, so over here, I have a list of responses. Okay, it's a very generic responses. So it's up to us which one is the best to use at that time. Okay, so normally when it's the first time or second time, we will give warning. Okay, that's the first thing we do. We don't punish them straight away. We give them warning. Okay? If the in-class warning still not working, okay, if their issue is they're making noise because they're sitting next to their friends, we can do some activities that actually will change the seating arrangement. Okay, then we observe again. Okay, will that happen again in the future? Okay, then if things still persist, then we have to call them out for consultations, either one-to-one consultations or consultations with the presence of the academic department head or head of school. Okay. Then during discussions, we can feedback to students how to solve problems if there are problems. Okay, and then if there are some problems that we cannot solve, for example, like the personal issues or what, then we have to feedback to them, direct them to the proper channel, and then still follow up with them. Okay, what's the progress and things like that. Okay. Withdrawal of privileges, this one depends. Okay, like some courses, some programs, maybe they have to use certain instruments or utility or rooms. Okay, so we can withdraw the privileges of using those things if they didn't fulfill certain criteria. So this will change their behavior, okay, towards certain things. Okay. So withdrawal of privilege examples would be like, for example, let's say they're supposed to use back the same examples, wear shoes in the lab. So they need to attend the lab. They need to go in the lab to complete certain things. Okay. So the rules is they have to wear shoes. Okay. So the moment they didn't fulfill that, they didn't wear shoes, then we said, okay, you cannot attend, maybe you cannot enter, okay, until you wear shoes. Yeah. So they have to find a shoes. Okay, so once they have a shoes, then only they can enter. So next time they won't repeat, okay, the things again. Reports to PL, ADH, and HOS. I think every schools we have this procedure where if we face students with issues, we have to inform, okay, so that everyone aware, and we will update them on what we have done and what's the progress. If all these things still not giving any good outcomes, and then of course discussions with ADH and HOS. Okay, if we say, oh, we have to call in the parents, then we'll call in the parents, and then if all things have been said and done, the students still haven't changed, then the last one will be dismissal. Okay, so these are just some of the generic responses, okay, and also levels, okay, from very mild to the very serious ones. Okay, so I've prepared one video to show about classroom management. All right. So in that videos, I would like you to identify the issues, okay, and also suggest what could be done differently by the teachers. Okay. So after the video, I will assign you guys into breakout rooms. I'll give you 10 minutes to discuss among yourself, okay, on these two issues here. All right. After that, I'll need representatives from each group to present your view, okay, on the issues and also the suggestions what the teachers can do differently. Okay, so let's watch the video.
Have prom dates, and tickets have been on sale for like 3 weeks already. Awkward. Kind of dramatic. Yeah. I mean, really, it sucks. Like, okay, having a bad day, please, everybody. Wait on the boat. See. She always is having a bad day. Thank you. I know, right? Is she not happy? Homework. Can we get out our homework from last night, please? Already there. And the problems. What were you guys working on in the homework last night? What was the topic? Kathleen? Slow? Correct. It was slow. All right, let's make this a good day, guys. Slow. Good. All right, question number 1. If I recall, it was... What is the slope? Question number 1, guys. Kathleen? 3. Yes, that is correct. 3. Great job. 2. Question number 2. I recall. What was the slope? Kathleen? -4. -4. Correct. That's it. Roger. We're moving on. Roger. Where's the homework?
I don't have it. Do I ever do it?
Well, that is a great question. No, you don't.
Well, maybe if I actually understand it.
Okay, well, maybe then you can come see me after class today.
What if I don't have time?
You need to make here because you don't have your books. I told you this before.
You know I
You will
don't have my
see
book.
me after class. Then please get your book out. Question
I don't
number
have
3. We had ordered 2 ordered pairs. And what is the slope? Kathleen?
3/7.
That's correct. 3/7.
Oh, of course. You always...
Roger, did you do number 4?
Well, I don't remember because I don't have my books, but I think the answer was 7.5 over 4.
7.5 over 4. Roger. That doesn't even make sense as a slope. That is incorrect.
You
This
just
is
call me
why.
stupid.
No, did I say stupid? No, I didn't. Roger.
I just implied it.
This is why I call on Kathleen. Her. Okay.
You always call on her, though. Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, she is doing homework and it's correct.
Well, there are other people
That's
that
why
are
you're
doing
going to see
homework,
me
too.
after class.
There are
End of
other people that
story.
are doing
Yes,
homework,
you
too.
may go to the bathroom, Jason. What does your shirt say? Ice cold. Yeah, I could have used one of those today,
Part of
actually.
the night if you want to call me.
Let's see. Okay, moving on, moving on.
Yeah,
Shannon.
homework.
What are you doing? Is that an important call?
Actually, kind of is, yeah.
I don't think it's very
It's called
important.
texting, not calling.
You know
I
the
know,
rules
right?
in my classroom, no cell phones. That belongs to me now, and your parents are going to have to come pick it up.
Really? I'm in high school and you want my parents to come
You
pick it up?
know the rules, Shannon. You know the rules.
Oh,
Okay,
she just
next. Wait, this is an emergency.
That's not Shannon's phone, that's your phone. Her phone was ringing, but you
Are
had
you
to get yours
serious?
taken away.
No,
You
I don't
always
think
get
so.
the right answer. It's not even
That's
fair.
right.
She doesn't get to keep my phone. She's
That's
gonna grab
right.
it on hers.
That's right.
Why does she always call on her?
I don't know, because Kathleen's listening.
Okay,
Stop.
sorry, that
Excuse
actually
me, what
wasn't.
makes your phone call more important than my
Shannon, this
text
was an
messages?
emergency.
Hey, who's
She
on
got
the
So
her
phone?
how do you know mine aren't emergencies?
Okay, good point.
Who was on the
Good
phone?
point, good point. Keep the phone, it's fine, class, let's
I have a
continue
boyfriend.
on,
She was drinking with last night.
continue on.
Oh, I'm a teacher.
All right, next topic. We are going to
Thought you were
continue
going
with
to the
graphing.
I checked your homework for you. Oh, nice. Is it right?
We are
I don't
going
know.
to continue with graphing. Jason,
What?
Okay,
let's,
so, now Kelly has a date and Brittany doesn't,
Will you
so.
shut up about the stupid prom already?
Excuse me? Do not speak to me like that. I don't need to take this.
Guys,
I'm leaving.
is
I
this-
don't care. No, this is ridiculous.
is this an issue I need to deal with?
Oh,
Oh,
she
Jason.
just walked out.
Yes, she did. You know what? I'm giving you guys your homework. The rest of the class, you're going to be working on your homework.
Well, you have to give it to us first.
What's
I'm
she
doing
doing?
that right now.
What are you gonna do about her?
Page 423, numbers 1 through, no, tonight, 1 through 30, all of them, get working.
That's more than what we
I am
usually
done
do.
with
All right. So hopefully you still remember all the things inside there. Okay, an interesting video over there. Okay, so yeah, so now I'll assign you all to the breakout room. Okay, then after that we will discuss. Okay, what you have, your idea, and what's the problems you see there. Okay, so yeah, let's assign you to the room now. Ali, can you assign them? Yes.
Can I be excused? Because I've got a call that I need to take at 4 o'clock.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Time வந்துட்டேன்.
The breakout should be ending soon or ending now. Where's the rest of the people? Ali, if you can hear me, have you closed the
Yes.
room? Have you closed the
Yes.
room?
I already closed, Dr. Tang.
Okay, and your screen today shows that the rooms already they're already coming out, or what's the
All of them already
status?
coming out.
Because on my screen I only can see
Seats.
few people. Yeah.
Same.
Okay, so not sure what is going on. All right, so over here now I have Noor Farahin, Dr. Zuliani, and Dr. Kamini. All right, so since this is recorded, no issue. Okay, I can complete this in a while. Then after that, those who missed this earlier, they can just catch up from here. Okay, so for three of you here, Noor Farahin, Dr. Zuliani, and Dr. Kamini, any one of you would like to share like what are the problems that you identify from the videos, and also what are the steps or what are the things that the teacher can do better?
Okay. Good afternoon, Dr. Tang.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon. What I can feel from the video is that I can feel that the instructor itself got distracted by the student behavior. I mean, I feel that she couldn't control the class very effectively, and then she got distracted because when the students are using the phone, I feel the instructor itself got a bit disengaged and distracted by the student's behavior. That's what I can observe, Doctor. Thank you.
Anything else?
Anything else? Then I want one more thing. I feel that from the video that the students are also too much casual with the instructor. They're like going around. I'm not sure who's the instructor and the student now. So I got a bit confused. Literally, I was like, no, because the students are too casual with the instructor. It's also another problem, when they're too casual with us sometimes. We like to have student-centered. We like to be very kind to them, pastoral care. But sometimes when they're too casual with us, they'll also become a challenge for us as well.
True. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, Farahin, how about you?
I agree with Dr. Kamini. Like at one point of junction, like we need to have a gap between the student and also the lecturer. So there is a barrier, which is like I don't know. Maybe there is a US culture how they talk between the student and lecturer. Maybe here in Asian country, they have like some kind of respect to teacher or lecturer. Okay, so they have like not to say that to create a boundary, but at least to have some respect towards towards the lecturer. That's one thing. And another thing I found out is the lecturer itself, the instructor itself, they're not being fair to everyone. That we realized that actually there is another guy behind the student who wants to volunteer to answer the question, but she only gives opportunity to one student to answer the question.
Yes,
That's why
correct.
The student who was sleeping was questioning the lecturer, like, how come the other student wants to answer? Why you're not giving a chance? That kind of thing. Like showing that I wish stupid or something like that. So she needs, and the third thing that she needs to be firm. Like if she draw a rules that okay, no one can use a phone, then no one can use a phone inside the class. All right, that's why the girl just leave it out, just walk out from the class because why? You also don't follow the rules, right? No phone inside the class, and then like I believe that we as a lecturer we have to be firm. We should show the role to the student. So then the student will follow us, will respect. Then we will show there is an engagement engaging inside the class. That's the thing that I can see obviously.
Anything else you want to add?
What else? Okay, how to manage the student sleeping inside the class? For us, I think like even for us, like I have a class at 8 o'clock, and I do have then basically my schedule for this semester. I have class at 3 until 5. Right? It's quite challenging, like to make sure the student paying attention inside the class. One way that we need to do is to not to attack the student. So need to attack the student like indirectly. We like maybe like when we ask a question, we make it fair. Like everyone like I just like call the name of the student to make it fair for everyone to answer the question, right? And when it comes to that student was sleeping, it's like maybe like we might be blur or something like, but we try to make him come back and engage, to have engagement inside the class. Try to attract that person to have an interest to our class, right? What we are doing right now, what is our discussion right now. I will do my best, like here and there, to make sure that he will be parts of the class at the end. It will be very difficult, but that's how it works. And I will just mention to the student, like, if you feel very sleepy, I will excuse you from the class and we'll wash your face. At least you take a break for a while, right? Then come back. Don't miss it in action, but please come back.
Okay, okay.
For the students who are sleeping.
Okay, thank you very much for the feedback. Yes, pretty much. I think No Farahin, you pin out most of the issues over there. So over here in the video, we can see that at the very beginning itself, when the instructor or the lecturer walked in, she's we can conclude as she's unprofessional. You all agree, right? The way she behaves is quite unprofessional. She mentioned something about today I'm having a bad day, and then she still will start the class. Yeah, so this is considered as unprofessional, and yeah, people when they sense that kind of things, the students when they sense that kind of behave, the vibes from you, they won't pay much attention to you because they already lose the respect in the first place already. Okay, before that, yeah, now I see people start to pop up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't know that we have to come back here again. Like we thought we would be the breakout room would be ended, and then we automatically come back. We didn't know.
Oh, because normally it's like you all will pop out on your own, right? Did that happen?
No, basically we left the breakout room and then we had to come back. And we didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know also. That's why earlier on I thought like, no, everyone just like left already because already 4.
No.
Yeah.
We were thinking that you would call us back, or the breakout room, and
yeah.
you and the breakout room.
Yes, we
Yeah.
actually we indeed already ended. I just now already like close everything, like then like nothing much we can do already. Okay, sorry about that. I think hopefully no other people trapped inside there. Nowhere I can message them. If yeah, that's the thing. Okay, what to do? Let's see. Just give me a moment. Yeah.
I think that one thing that you can ask them to join, right? You can click to the name and ask join.
Request to join, right?
Ask them to join. Yeah, that's one way.
Okay, hopefully everyone already out from the room. Okay, first of all, those who just pop out, like to say sorry because yeah, we already closed the room, but somehow the system doesn't work as how we expect it to work. Yeah, so we actually discussed about the video. So just to repeat, okay, so earlier on, Dr. Kamini and No Farahin share their thoughts on the video. So the conclusion that we get from that first is that the instructor, she is not professional from the beginning itself. Okay, so you can see that when she came in, she said that, no, I have a bad day, and then she straight away starts. And then also at the very end, when the students walk out, she said, that's it, I give you work to do, and then she also like end the class. So she punished the rest of the class because of the bad mood she was having. Okay, so that is the professionalism itself. So if in long run, the students see this kind of behavior, they will lose respect, and that's what happened to the class. Okay, no one's listened to her. That's the first thing. Second thing is she have a favorite students. She just focus on that particular students. I think the students is called cats. So even other students wants to participate, she'll just disregard that one and just focus on one person. So favorism. So again, this one will cause other students to dissatisfied with the action, and they won't cooperate with you in the future. Okay. Then the next one is the sleeping students. So that is one of the so-called misbehavior. But because that students at that point, he is not disrupting the class. So if you ask one time, he didn't want to cooperate, we should just leave him alone, let him there. We can talk to him outside the class, or we set a time to talk to him personally. So like for her style, she already talked to that person. Then after that, she attacked that person, okay, by asking him to answer questions and then ridicule the answer given by him. Okay, so yeah, that is not right. And then there's one more is the students using handphone. So she said, my class cannot use handphone, but after that, when her phone rang, she said that is important. So that is that shows that she's not following the rules that she set. Okay, so if let's say earlier on she already mentioned about the rules of phone, then she should stick to it. Okay, in case like let's say she indeed is anticipating some important calls, for example, like emergencies, something like that. She's expecting that kind of phone calls. She can inform the class in advance, saying that, sorry class, today I'm expecting important calls for certain matters. So please excuse me if I have to walk out to answer the call, something like that. Just inform the class about that. Okay, but other than that, stick to the rules, no answering phones during the class, even your own phone. So students will follow by example. Okay, and lastly, there's the phone. Yeah, the last part is, of course, because of those, the unprofessionalism shown by her, I believe like if we are in that situation, that means it's already considered chronic situation where they all already experienced that kind of situation for a very long time, and they're already fed up. So from the students' body language, you can see that they actually already starts to hate her already. Okay, so that's why they behave in such manner. Okay, so if she at the very beginning come in with a very professional manner where she don't bring her frustration to the class, greet the class, tell them to settle down, and this is what we're going to do, then at least that kind of starting parts, okay, the students will at least like calm down, and they know exactly what's going to happen. Okay, so yeah, hope we don't have these situations in our class. Okay, yeah, anything, anyone would like to add on anything else that I missed out maybe, or you have your own thoughts? No, yeah, so I know we are running out of time. Okay, okay, last part. Okay, last part. very quickly.
Teaching
Yes.
Teaching on the mathematics. Something
Yes.
taught.
Yeah, anything? Sorry, Dr. Nurul, you are breaking.
He taught something on the blackboard, right?
Uh-huh.
On the video, she taught something on the blackboard. So she explained some formulas and all, not well, right?
Actually, she haven't start anything yet.
Yeah.
In that part, she just like not just start with the yesterday's homework and that's it. Mhm. Yeah, but there's just a made up clip to show the situations in the classroom that is mismanaged. Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue with the last parts, okay, of this one here, sharing. So the last part here, I just want to share with you the GATNI events of instruction. I believe we all are very familiar with the GATNI 9 events of instruction. Okay, 9 events, but this one is a modified version, which still have most of them. Okay, 2 steps were taken out. Okay, so we're left with only 7 events, but still work very well. Okay, because the 2 events that have been taken out from the steps here already being incorporated into other steps. Okay, very quickly. So these 7 steps here basically give us a guide on how to start until how to end a session, and 1 hour session. So basically, we will get the answer if we ask questions. Okay, so first step here is to gain attention. So before we start the class, we already greet them to get their attention, to be ready. Okay, we have to gain their attention. So the questions you have to ask is like, what do the students need to know about this topic? Okay, so this step is to capture students' attention and engage them in the learning process. Okay, so you can start by asking common questions related to the topic. Okay, for example, like if you are teaching commerce, okay, you can ask them like, how much is a cup of the coffee you bought from the brand XYZ? Okay, then from there itself, okay, you can gain their attention. They will start answering you, and then you can lead them to the next step. They ask thought-provoking questions and also show some interesting facts, pictures, or diagram, or even demonstration, okay, to gain their attention. Okay, so that's the first step, to gain their attention. Okay. So once they are ready, okay, then we tell them, okay, so you have seen these videos, or from our discussion, this is what you are going to learn today. So you tell them, you inform them, okay, their learning objective for today's lesson. Okay. So the standard statements we always say is like, at the end of this lesson or at the end of the class, you should be able to remember something, explain something, sketch something. Okay. Just tell them what they will learn that is related to the activity before. Then once you inform them about the learning outcome, then we try to stimulate the recall of the prior knowledge. Okay, so this one can be done, okay, to see how good is the foundation. Okay, so if this is related to the previous topic, then we can ask questions from the previous topic, see whether or not they still remember some of the key concepts that have to that they will apply in today's class. So for the prior knowledge, it can be as simple as you give them pop quiz, or you can ask them impromptu, asking them questions, okay, or pop quiz, ask them to summarize the previous topics, lessons. So once that part is done, okay, then from there, we can slowly go into the contents. So from the prior knowledge parts also, if let's say the students' statements have some mistakes, that's where you start to correct them and then continue with the present content. So this part here will be the content itself. So how much do I need to cover for this topic? Okay, that's the question you have to ask yourself. How much do I need to cover? So that's where you refer back to the LO. Okay, and from there you create the activities, okay, for the contents. So the lessons should be structured and in organized manner based on your LO. Okay. It has to be authentic. Okay, means you are using real world examples, problems. Okay, and also the presentation should assist the students for the assessment and real applications. Okay, so the simplest thing is when we are giving examples or problems, we have to we have to Malaysianize, okay, the things so that students are familiar with the topics we are talking about. Okay. And then, of course, in the presentation, we have to make it using variety teaching style. Okay, we have words, we have pictures, we have videos. Okay, different instruction activities. Okay, group discussion, Q&A, quizzes. Okay, just to make sure they pay attention. And then we have to highlight as well the important parts, okay, during the lesson itself. Okay, when we discuss, we circle, we highlight. Okay, so those will assist them, okay, to pay attention, okay, to certain things or facts which is important, okay, for them to revisit again. So once done with the presentation of the contents, then we want to test them. Okay, so this part here is not the actual testing, it's more to elicit performance where we want to make sure they follow what we present, okay, along the way. So over here, we will ask them questions. Okay, so over here, we ask them questions, okay, which is non-evaluative. Okay, for example, we can ask like, okay, after 2 slides, then we have like 1 or 2 questions regarding to those slides. Okay, then ask them, what do you think about the statements earlier? Okay, or can you summarize what being presented earlier? Okay, so that's elicit performance. So along the way, we give them a prompt, okay, for them to present the answer. Okay, we try to lead them to the proper pathway if they're lost, okay, by giving them prompts, okay, to elicit performance, okay, so that the rest will learn as well. Another way to do this is the conventional way, where we have the questions after 2 or 3 slides. Okay, we give them time to write their answers, and then they check with their neighbors. Okay, after that, we release the answer for them to cross-check. Once done with the previous part, the elicit performance, they already have their answers, then we have to provide them feedback, whether correct or incorrect. Okay. So we can share with them verbally, or we can just project the correct answer. Okay, so for examples, would be like this one here. Okay, give correct answers to entire class, give key answers after group discussion, and points to the correct answer in the textbook. Okay, so the teaching still take place, okay, during this elicit performance and provide feedbacks. Okay, so from the feedback, if we see they still have issues, we would maybe we'll go back to the place where they have problems. If everything okay, then we will assess the performance. Okay. So assess performance is how will you know when the students have achieved the goals. So this is where we give them work. Okay, it can be graded assignment or it can be just homework. Okay, as long as we mark those work. Okay, so that's how we assess their performance. Okay, at the end of the lesson, we give them work, then we grade them, return back to them for them to improve. Okay, so it can be in the form of test, quiz, or homework or exercises. Okay, so those are the 7 steps. If you look at the 9 steps, after assess performance, there's one more last step, which is enhance retention and transfer. So enhanced retention and transfer is actually already included in part of these 7 steps here. Okay, because after assess performance, we don't stop here, right? After assess performance, we give them work to do, we evaluate, and then we give them feedback in the next class. So that feedback in the next class should serve as a way to enhance the retention of the knowledge for the future use. Okay, so these are the 7 steps. Of course, if you have the 9 steps, you have been practicing that, basically they are the same thing. Okay, so over here, this is just a guide. It's just a reference. If we have 50 minutes lesson, this is basically like 1 hour class. So how much time we should spend on each steps here. Okay, so gaining attention shouldn't be more than 5 minutes. Okay, then we have the presence of the contents and also elicit performance. That should be the bulk of the lesson. Okay, the assess performance here, we can do it in a class, or you can just ask them as a take back homework, submit the next day, and then you mark and then you return back to them. Okay, so how to use these 9 steps or 7 steps pretty much is based on your experience in your class before. If this is the first time you are teaching that subject, you can plan how you're going to execute these things. After that, you execute in class. Okay, after that, if something not work in your favor, okay, just do some adjustment. So next round, if you're still teaching the same course, then you can implement the new formula and see whether it works or not. Okay, a lot of times we have to do adjustment, try and error before we can perfect the activities in the class. Okay, this is just simple examples. Okay, so like what is the topic, the principles, then the gain attention. Okay, ask them to play a game first, building game, and then ask them to guess what will happen to each side. Okay, after that, bring them in, say like, okay, today you're going to learn about Lesch-Shuttler principles. What are the learning outcomes? Because it is a new topic, so there's no prior knowledge to recall. Okay, so jump straight away to the presentation. Okay, so in the presentations, okay, you define, then identify the factors, okay, use diagrams, demonstrations to show what's going on. Elicit performance. Okay, we discuss and answer questions posted in pair. Okay, make them sit in pair, answer those questions. And then during the providing feedback, we ask the random pair to answer. If it is correct, okay. If it's wrong, then we'll give them prompts to guide them to the correct answer. Okay. Then at the end, before the class ends, then either let them play Kahoot games if have time. If no time, then they will complete the work, homework, and then submits before the next class. Okay, so there's just examples of if you want to write it down, then basically it will be something like this, okay, for the 1 hour session. All right, okay. day one plan. So yeah, now it's already week 3. Maybe you just what you call that? You just try to recall the first day of your class when you see them. Do you actually do these few steps here? If yes, that's good. If no, maybe next round you want to try this. Okay, to make the rest of the journey smoother. Okay, so this is first day. So we don't jump in and start the class straight away. We will do a little bit of ice-breaking activity to get to know each other. After that, you show them the course outline, explain to them what to expect. After that, rules and regulations, okay, what they expect, what you expect from them, what can do, what cannot. So we present to them the important rules first. Okay. After that, the next class we can slowly add in new additional rules, okay, where appropriate. Then after that, before we jump into the actual the topic, okay, we can do beginner levels activity, okay, for them to recall prior knowledge, okay, the coverage of the course, and then if they perform well, then they will look forward to the next class. Okay, so the beginner activities basically is to link, okay, them to the actual course. So let's say if the day one is a 1 hour class, okay? So after you have done this, if you can start, if you have time to start, then you can start slowly, okay? So that they can get adjusted to your style and what to expect, okay? If not, then you can end the class. So basically the closure of that particular class, you can remind them like, no, next class, what's to read up first or what to bring. Okay, and also just give them encouragement. Say, no, hope you have a wonderful semester, something like that. Okay, so that is the day one plan. Okay, suggested day one plan. Okay, so that's the last slide. So to quickly recap for effective classroom management. So ultimately what we want is to able to create a conducive and safe environment for the students to study and excel. So in order to do that, to have the safe environments and conducive environments, we have to set a reasonable rules and implement them firmly. And lastly, students, they are the main target here. So we have to earn their respects. So we have to show that we are committed to the lesson. We prepare them well. We present them with confidence. When they ask questions, we answer them professionally. Okay. And we can earn their respect also by showing the caring part, the pastoral care. Okay, we actually care about their performance. Okay, not just go in, finish class, go out, and then repeat that. Okay, do talk to them. If they are not doing well, let them know that we are there to help them. And lastly, of course, treat them as adults. Okay, how we want them to treat us. We treat them as so. All right, so treat them respectfully, and if you need to talk certain sensitive things to them, make sure you pull them out or arrange other times to talk to them. Okay, don't embarrass people in front of the class. Okay, so that's the 3 bring back messages. Okay. And thank you for your attention. All right, anything you'd like to share or ask before I end the session? Okay, if no, yes, no,
Doctor,
yeah?
yeah, Doctor, I
Yes,
just want to ask
yes,
you something from your
yes.
experience. Usually for the preparation of the final exam question, right? When we
Yeah.
should submit to the vetting, what is the usual practice?
Okay, so for the exam paper preparation, this one goes back to individual schools. You have to, you have to check with the PL on the deadlines.
Okay, so it's respective school.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no
Thank you,
problem.
doctor. Okay. Thank you
Okay.
for the session. Thank you for the
Okay.
share.
All right. I think that's all. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Thank you, doctor. Have a nice weekend.
Okay.
Thank you, doctor. Bye.
All right. Bye.